My very first job as my own company was a referral I got from Re3D on building vertical axis airfoils. In fact, they wanted to build the whole thing out of 3D printing. These airfoils were about 20 inches tall and they were about 4 or 5 inches wide. Really not very many printers have that capability to be able to print that tall. These guys had already wasted a lot of time with someone else that they'd found who didn't have a gigabot, didn't have the capability to be able to make the parts. And they had already exhausted their own ability to be able to make the parts. So I looked at their job and I looked at what they told me that the other guy had tried to do, and essentially what he tried to do was build that airfoil in sections. And I told him, I think I can build that airfoils. There were 3 airfoils. I can build those blades standing up on my gigabot, and I can build them all in one piece. They couldn't believe it, and I didn't know if I believed it, but we did it. So the way that I did it was I stacked all 3 airfoils sort of in a triangle shape where the leading edges of the airfoils all came together, and I built a sacrificial tube, and so it was self-supporting, the entire structure. And so by doing that, I could stand the blades up on end and then just build the whole unit all at once. And then when you're done, it was very weakly attached to that center hub support structure, and so you could just bend it back and forth a little bit and break them off, and then the entire airfoil was essentially perfect. Just a little bit of sandpaper and you're done. So I built the rotors for them and the airfoil, my very first job, and it was a success. They wrote a paper about that. That paper's on the internet, and they got their engineering degrees based on the working model. So that was really an inspiration to me, was that we didn't just make a part that was sitting on the table that you showed somebody, but it was a part that they strapped onto a car and went down the road at 50 miles an hour with and generated electricity that worked. And because it worked, they got their degrees, right? They moved on with their research. I felt great about that, really being able to help them. And they were excited to have the parts. So it was a win-win.